Welcome on into Garage Takes. If you guys haven't done so already, do us a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, hop into the comments down below, Michigan fans. Let us know how you're feeling after a win against Washington this past weekend, which was absolutely must needed, not just for this season, but for this program and for Sharon Moore's tenure, if I'm being honest. So, great win by Michigan, Brand. I want to get into that to kind of start. I know we've got to talk Michigan State. It's rivalry week. I don't care. Throw the records out the window. I don't care what people are saying about Michigan State, Jonathan Smith, whatever. The gloves come off in this game. It's a night game in East Lansing, and anything can happen. And until Michigan runs out there and drops 40 points and runs them off the field, I'm not going to believe that's happening. So we will definitely get into that. But Brant, let's start with this Washington game. What did you see from this Michigan team? How they responded? How Sharon Moore responded? This coaching staff responded this past Saturday.
Dave, I think the best way to put it was next man up. I thought they exemplified that. I thought they didn't do anything crazy special. Like, you look at that performance, Dave, what's funny is you came on here last week and you were talking about the gimmicky Sharon Moore go to work shirt, blue collar mentality type deal. Dave, I hate to say it, man, it worked. It was a very workman-like performance. It was a very much mindset of they needed this one, they got it. And Dave, it wasn't super easy. It was, you had to dig deep. You had to find a way. You had some players step up that you might necessarily not be household names. But I think one of the main things was, Dave, that they found a little bit of an identity in that second half of, the turnovers are one thing, but to capitalize on them and to make Washington pay for them was a massive deal. And I think you finally got that linebacker crew right where you need them to be. The secondary played well all day long, not just in the second half, but I thought it was a very workmanlike performance. And how much can you say about the guys that aren't household names that stepped up and made the plays when needed to? And I just overall think that it was a great, gritty, step on your throat type of game. And then, Dave, I know before you go, I know you talk about the boa constrictor analogy with Michigan, and that team exemplified that on Saturday in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Brant, I could still do without the jacket. I can't. But it's good. Again, things like that are funny, fine, or whatever, as long as you win. When you're not winning and throwing that stuff out there, nobody wants to hear it. You're gonna put that jacket on and then go to USC and lose. It's not cute anymore. Burn the jacket. But they got the win. Yes, it was next man up mentality. Very similar to what you saw with the Lions on Monday night against the Bucks. You got everybody stepping up and playing cohesively, and they came off their worst game of the season, their worst performance of the season, really in all three aspects of the game, and they got it right. You lose your left tackle, and it looks significant. I guess it sounds like Evan Link, you may get him back this year, which is good news for Michigan. But insert Blake Frazier, redshirt freshman, came in, got blown up right away, and then just settled in and played great. And, Brant, I look at this team and how young they are right now. You look at just this offensive line and who has stepped up. You're going to lose El Hadi after this year, but you're definitely going to have Evan Link back next year, who plays better as a guard, by the way. Blake Frazier will be back. He's a redshirt freshman. You've got Andrew Sprague, another redshirt freshman. Jake Guarnera. These guys are all coming back. Insert also Andrew Babalola, Ty Haywood into this mix right. Moving forward.
You might have to find a center in the transfer portal, because if Guarnera's... Yeah. I mean, Guarnera was slated to be the center
sure.
and battled Crippen, but I mean, if he's there and he's playing great at right guard, you're going to leave him.
And you look at the rest of that offense here, and I know you'll lose Donovan McCulley after this year, but Brant, who's stepping up here? Andrew Marsh. When they needed a wide receiver to be a guy that's just consistent and a playmaker, he's been that. He's a true freshman. Obviously, we know Bryce Underwood is a true freshman. Jordan Marshall, He's a redshirt freshman, and you could lose Justice Haynes after this year, but they return so much talent that I don't want to get ahead of myself and skip through this season, because I don't think we're a national championship contender by any means. But I think we have a good football team that looks like they got better on Saturday, which is exactly what you wanted to see. On the defensive side of the ball, same thing. Like you said, guys are stepping up all over the place, and it's not just Jaden Sanders anymore. You're talking about Eli Dotson getting in there. Shamari Earls got in there as well, rocking that number 2 jersey. And gosh, he's got the size and the athleticism to be a guy here in the future. And then, man, Jimmy Rolder, Cole Sullivan, like these guys just made plays. Derek Moore, I'd be remiss if I didn't give him a massive shout out. He had himself his best game of the year, and it wasn't even close. So this Washington team was no slouch. Brant, you put them on notice before the season even started as a good football team. Their 2 losses right now are to Michigan and Ohio State, and so they've got a great quarterback, a good almost great quarterback, and Damon Williams, a true dual threat guy that went for over 500 total yards the week before. And Michigan absolutely put him in a box. They contained him really well. I thought the game plan was great. I thought Wink Martindale called a great game, and I thought Chip Lindsey called a great game on offense. And so I know we're kind of name dropping and going through all these guys. I feel like Jim Harbaugh in a sense, but really it's hard not to give credit where credit is due. If we're going to criticize them when they go out there and fall flat on their face in a game like USC, then you got to give them their flowers when they show up and take care of business. So I'm very excited, very optimistic now. This sets up the rest of the season. We've talked about the schedule. You get Michigan State this Saturday, and then things start to open up. You've got the Purdue's and Northwesterns of the world, and Maryland, and then obviously the game against Ohio to finish things off. You've got a pathway to be 9-2 to go and play Ohio State in Ann Arbor, where anything can happen. And so, Brant, I'll kind of turn it over to you. I don't know where you want to take this in terms of either Michigan State, or what your next thoughts are here.
Dave, you know what's funny is you and we know what Michigan State week is. It's everything that is, you see this 14.5 point spread, and right off the bat, you're thinking, probably give me Sparty with the 14 and a hook. Just because it is what it is, man. You said throughout the record books, we know that it's MSU Super Bowl, Jonathan Smith fighting for his job. But when you look over at that Michigan State sideline, you probably offensively 2 names pop to you immediately, right? Aiden Childs, Nick Marsh. Marsh is going to be 100% a first-round receiver whenever he decides he needs to go to the NFL. And
after he hits the transfer portal this year,
potentially, depends on how many pennies they can scrape together, I'm sure, to satisfy his NIL needs. But Aiden Childs certainly can burn you. And Dave, when I was looking back through the Michigan State rivalry, I just, there's these moments in that series that it becomes iconic, right? I look at 2021. Kenneth Walker legacy game, right, Dave? You knew who Kenneth Walker was coming into that game. You sure as heck knew who he was after that game had closed and put his name in the Heisman running. But it's moments like that.
TJ Duckett, does that ring a bell?
So I was gonna go there, and I wanted to see if you could remember 2001, Clockgate, East Lansing. It's this type of series, 2020. Where Michigan was favored by 27.5 points, the largest point spread to ever, go the other way, and you actually outright lose. And that game to me, Dave, signified the PI game. Like, you can consider that Michigan probably had 5-6 pass interference calls that day, and rightfully so. I mean, they were getting cooked all game long. It's just something that you don't always see. And Dave, do we have to bring up 2015? I mean, if we have to go there, we will.
Yeah, that was enjoy this, Michigan State fans, because that was literally one of the worst nights of my life. And I don't know if that says what kind of adversity I've either been through or not been through in my life, but I'm telling you that is top 5, one of the worst nights of my life. Oh, we had trouble with the snap.
So I actually the ones I wanted to go through were iconic iconic in the way that I thought both teams had something to provide that that you could look back and say this was a big moment in the rivalry. So the fifth one I actually had slated for 2004, which would be the Braylon Edwards, comeback when they were down 21 or whatever it was. Braylon Edwards scores four straight touchdowns and to take it to overtime to win the football game. And Dave, I just named five moments, and four of those are Michigan State wins. So weird, quirky, just weird stuff happens in this game. And it's the Aiden Childs of the worlds, the Nick Marshes of the worlds, like that can pop on you, and all of a sudden they have their Michigan State moment and they live in MSU lore forever. So just be wary of that. And I wanted to take it there, Dave, because you hit on it when you said you've been shook. Like you've been beat too many times in this rivalry where you thought you had the advantage, and it turns out you didn't have the advantage.
Yeah, and I think for years it was like even when Michigan was getting good or getting over their own mountain of issues, whether it was beating Ohio State, whatever, it was like you cannot sleep on Michigan State any year. And I liked that the year, I think it was 2022, if I'm not mistaken. It was after they lost in 2021, and it was
We
like,
were there. That was the
right.
fight. That
Yeah,
was the
we,
fight
we
game.
were definitely there, but I think wasn't that the year that like Jim Harbaugh said, "Look, we've got four goals coming into this year: beat Michigan State, beat Ohio State, win a Big Ten championship, win a national championship." And I loved it. For all the quirky, weird things Jim said, that was like, no, we're putting that. And of course, they beat us that previous year, but it's like that should be a goal every year. This is Michigan State's Super Bowl, and that's no slight to them at
No,
all.
it's
I mean,
not.
this is
It's a
their
credit to
big.
them.
Exactly. This is their biggest game, and they've shown up time and time again. No, we haven't seen it in year one with Jonathan Smith. This will be attempt number two. But look, you saw it with Mel Tucker. Brant, what got Mel Tucker a $90 million contract? It was
Yeah.
beating Michigan in 2021. He could thank Kenneth Walker for that. I mean, all of these guys, D'Antonio, like they had their moments. I mean, D'Antonio dominated the rivalry while he was here for a period of time, and I just don't think that you can come into this game and simply go, look, because Brent, what are the talking points? Well, Michigan State's got a horrible defense. Michigan should be able to score 40 or 50 points and could run away with it early. Okay, sure. On paper, maybe. But Brant, am I going to be surprised at all when Michigan's up 14-10 midway through the third quarter? No, I'm not. And so that 14 and a half, they're 14 with the hook, as you said, it's there for a reason because I think this game could be, I'm not saying it will be close, but it will not surprise me at all if this game is a lot closer than Michigan fans want as we head into the fourth quarter.
Okay. Dave, I know we've covered Michigan State. I think we've done a well enough job with that. I have one more question that I think is kind of a burning question for the Big Ten as a whole and kind of in the landscape of college football right now. Dave, is the Big Ten getting four college football teams into the college football playoff? We both know they're getting three.
They're getting three for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, the Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana, will all be in. That's a good question. I don't see it. I would be surprised, I guess, but
let me
go
give
ahead.
you the
Tell
three.
me.
Yeah, let me give you the three candidates: Illinois,
No,
USC, Michigan.
maybe. I think USC and Michigan are the. We need to see how the rest of their schedule goes. That's kind of where I'm at with like. I don't know though, Brant. I don't know. Like, does USC? I don't have USC. I know Michigan's schedule.
I've got it for you.
Yeah, what's USC's remaining schedule? That may dictate my my answer here. Brant, they're not going to keep Oregon, Ohio State, or Indiana out.
Yeah.
I would be shocked. And if Michigan beats Ohio State, that's Ohio State's one loss or whatever, and Michigan's 10-2, one loss in the Big Ten. Yeah, I think four get in. What's Ohio State or USC's remaining schedule?
The only way, okay, so USC, tough road game at Oregon, second to last week of the season. And then
they beat Oregon there. I would almost say
that's almost a worst case scenario for Michigan.
It
because even
is.
if Michigan beats Ohio State,
They've,
USC will have the heads up. So
they sure will.
you will need them to stub their toe somewhere else along the way. Tricky game at Nebraska, night game. That is not this weekend. That is next weekend. And then they bring in Iowa. So, it's a little tricky for USC down the stretch here. Not as tricky as Michigan, or not as easy as Michigan. I think Michigan of the three pass has the easiest.
Mm-hmm.
Illinois does go out to Washington this weekend. So
Sure.
kind of an elimination game there for Illinois, so to speak. But all three of those teams can still go 9-2, well, technically 10-2 or 9-3, and have a case to get into the college football playoff.
Yeah, I guess it will be interesting, especially in a year where the SEC is truly like just very deep right now, and looks like the best conference in football this year. And so when I think about putting 4 Big Ten teams in, how many SEC teams get in then?
Yeah, I think you're probably. I don't know if you get 5 SEC teams in. I think it's very possible, but I think so. This is okay. Let me give you Illinois' remaining schedule because I think
Sure.
you're gonna. I think you're gonna think differently after this. They go to Washington. Say they get that one. They host Rutgers. They host Maryland. They're at Wisconsin, and they host Northwestern.
So Washington's their only game left.
And they're 10-2.
See, this is when this is when money talks. Though they would keep a 10-2 Illinois out before they would keep a 10-2 Michigan out, who beat Ohio State. That's just the way it is. I'm not saying it's right. It's the way it is.
I completely agree with that. It's just so hard for Illinois to probably swallow at that point because your losses are literally Indiana, Ohio State.
You got it.
Dave, and I like
chaos, baby.
I like taking scenarios like this right now because who knows? They lose to Washington this weekend. We can't talk about it.
Everything
anymore,
changes. Yep.
But I think these are fun exercises to do because there's so many different variables of the way that this season can go and where Michigan stacks up right now. And now that Michigan can see the light at the end of the tunnel to Ohio State, I think it's time to seriously start talking about the college football playoff. Obviously, you got to get past Sparty this weekend, but everything's on the table for this Michigan team. And if you're a Michigan fan listening to this episode, I think you should start gearing yourself towards if we can beat Ohio State, we're in that playoff.
Mm-hmm. And if you're a Michigan State fan listening to this episode,
right.
let us know what you guys think.
Spoil the season. Right now, we'll come on here next week and we will be very sad.
And look, and my question to Michigan State fans is simply this. If Michigan State beats Michigan this weekend in East Lansing, do you give Jonathan Smith a pass for this year? Does nothing else matter at that point? Or is it still, it's not good enough? I honestly want to know people's takes on that.
I do too. And I think I'm just going to go devil's advocate quickly, Dave. I think he's still got to make a bowl too. I don't think you can go bowlless again. I think that would be just such a bad look, even though you get the Michigan dub. Tough look.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Michigan State fans, hop into the comment section down below. Let us know, what do you guys think? How's the game going this weekend? Talk to us about that 14.5-point spread in Michigan's favor. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button, and we'll be back next week talking about the results of this one. And enjoy Rivalry weekend. Go Blue.